Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's read-through for Magical Girl Raising Project or Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku ACES Chapter 3. And we're going to start off with the first part. Like I said before, I want to do 3 parts for each of these chapters, even though this one is like 50% longer than last chapter. So I'm going to be doing the first 15 pages here. I'm going to do up to page 15, there's a scene break. And then I believe there's a scene break on page 31, and then I'll read from there to the end of the chapter in the last read through. So last time we spent most of our time focusing on Flez's group and Deluge's group, that sort of coalition that's coming together and what they're trying to do. And so yeah, this time I see Sarami Nakano's the first one we're getting to, so it looks like we're jumping back to what Snow White's group is doing. So let's see what we end up with here. We have Chapter 3, Greetings from the Amusement Park. And we're starting with Sarami Nakano. The Osk faction had attacked them. She had a cool face, but Sarami's heart was beating rapidly, and it felt like she was too tongue-tied to say anything. If she wasn't careful, her feet might give in. Thanks to Ularu's magic skill, they achieved victory. However, if she didn't do that, they'd be forced to fight head-on. The enemy was wielding spears. A single thrust could cut her up. A cut would draw blood, and depending on how she was cut, she could die. Sarami hugged herself. The shivering came later. She should have known that the Osk faction was going to attack them, but until she saw it with her own eyes, it felt like watching a painting. She always thought that whenever those things happened, it'd be somewhere where she wouldn't be there. The thought of actually fighting, until now, Sarami would have laughed it off, saying, "You're thinking too much. Hurry, we have to move." Ularu was always annoyed. Her face was red, and she seemed more excited than she was afraid. She was boasting because she used her own magical skill to defeat their enemies. Fighting opponents that were about to do them harm and winning would make her as proud as ever. Just like Sarami had thought, Snow White and Ularu's magical skill was compatible with each other. No matter how many lies Ularu would spit out, Snow White would instantly figure out that they were lies. Once it's revealed that what Ularu said were lies, then Ularu's magic on them would also be broken. When Ularu was in a conflict with Snow White, Ularu had never met such a troublesome opponent. However, if Snow White was her ally, then there'd be no need for Ularu to worry that her own allies would be deceived by her. People like Sarami who... Sorry, I lost my place. Hang on. Sorry. People like Sarami who understood that Ularu was lying was one thing, but it was great that Ularu wouldn't have to hold back with her lies all the time. As long as the two were fighting together, Sarami's sure everything had turned out fine. Afterwards, she realized that she was breathing rather rapidly and had slowed down by breathing in deeply, calming her mind as well. She'd be a failure if she only thought of herself. She knew this as a fact, a feeling that felt absent-minded before. That things like Osk faction and enemies were things that made her filled with fear. Not just for Ularu and Sarami, but for Sachiko, who was standing in the brunt of it all. Did Sachiko even know where she was going? She probably didn't know as much as Sarami did. Even if she had known, she would have taken something from the manor along with her. No matter how big of a pressure it was to become the main part of the ritual, she would have grabbed a weapon or something to swing at enemies that were chasing her around. Thinking about Sachiko rather than herself made Sarami calmer. Sarami came all this way to rescue Sachiko after all. Although Sarami could protect herself just fine, she also had Ularu, Snow White, and Fall. Sachiko was all alone. No matter where she is, she must be shaking right now. According to Snow White, the enemies they faced were only a small part of a larger group. There were supposed to be around 50 more of the same magical girls, and there's a possibility that they've been deployed all over the city. We should find Sachiko as soon as possible. Ularu ran with small steps. Snow White and Sarami followed behind. Each time Sarami passed by a building, she'd place her hands on it to see what was inside. Before she only focused on finding Sarami, I think she meant finding Sachiko, but now she was also going to wash out any possibility of the enemy's location. Even with Fall's radar and Snow White's magic, they wouldn't know who passed by here in the past. Sarami continued checking the buildings for ones with any trace of a magical girl being there once, before she finally found one. Here, I think Sachiko passed by here today, earlier in the morning when the shop opened. It was a department store. Sachiko wasn't here right now. However, she did go through the back door of the building to exit it. Sarami remembered the places she'd go with Sachiko. Where would she go if she exited through the back door? There was a sake factory that they approached during a tour, and just nearby there was a Japanese cracker store. Puck had once asked them to do errands in the supermarkets here. It's too much work to go somewhere like that, I think. When Sachiko's in trouble or scared, or thinks there's something bad about to happen, she's always escaped the house many times, and her destination seemed to be her old haunts as well. The mountainside where they had a trip, the place where they tend to shop for goods. She'd only go to places she'd experienced going to before, and avoided places where she'd get lost and didn't know the lay of the land. She was cowardly, but she knew what she was doing. Sarami told Uluru it's because in her heart Sachiko wants to be found, so she only goes to familiar places. Without Puck's permission, Sachiko, Uluru, nor Sarami had little opportunity to go outside, since they stayed at the manor to serve Puck. Even though they've been out of the city when accompanying Puck, their activities were basically confined within city limits. What do you think, sis? Where do you think she went from the back door? Uluru lifted her face that was gazing downwards all this time. Well, maybe the amusement park. Amusement park? More specifically, former amusement park. She's probably there since it closed down last year. You're right, I remember that place. Even though it was an amusement park, it didn't really attract that many tourists from other prefectures. It was called Monkey Mountain. It had some athletic facilities, a train with a monkey driver, a shop, and that's about it. The recession really caused it to only last until a year ago. Sarami remembered the time when they were kids. Once when she was 7, another when she was 10, she'd play at the amusement park. When Sarami was 6 years old, Sachiko was scared of the monkey, though. Puck gave her some soft cream ice cream, and it was like she forgot entirely and was extremely happy, dripping cream from her mouth to her neck. By the time Sarami was 7, Sachiko stopped being scared of the monkey so they could ride the monkey train, but of course since Sachiko was still a scaredy cat at heart, she made a fuss midway to try and get down, so Puck quickly bought another soft cream. When they were 10, they were no longer at the age of riding the train, so they went to the athletic facilities, but they started a fight with some of the other kids, so Puck brought everyone soft cream for arbitration, and some of the kids that weren't even in the fight wanted soft cream too, so Puck bought some more, and still she had the unusual sight of a bunch of kids licking ice cream in the athletics corner burned into her mind. There were also some bullies that had soft cream too. When she remembered these all, Sarami tilted her head. You think Sachiko went there? Why do you think she wouldn't? Sachiko's, I don't think she's had any memorable moments there. She cried, she had soft cream on her face, and she started a fight. They're not exactly good memories to have. Yes, she did. She did? Of course. Uluru suddenly jolted up and walked forward with confidence, entering the department store's automatic doors. Sarami and Snow White followed suit. Whenever Uluru had confidence, two things were possible. She was actually confident in her decision, or she didn't want to show that she was wrong, so she hid behind an air of confidence. If it was the former, even if there was little evidence supporting her case, Sarami knew that most of the time it ended up as a success. She hoped that it was the former this time as she followed along at a quick pace. And now we're jumping to Uluru's point of view on page 5. Uluru. She remembered one thing. That time Sachiko wasn't scared of the monkey, so it must have been when she was 10. She remembered the smoldering heat that the soft cream melted in their hands. Uluru and Sachiko were watching Monkey Mountain together. Uluru was thinking to herself, wonder if there are any monkeys that look like Sachiko when she's crying. Sachiko pointed behind the Monkey Mountain. What's that over there? She asked. Oh, that's the monkey house it's connected to, explained Uluru. Oh, that's so nice that Mr. Monkey can hide from the heat there, replied Sarami, impressed. What Uluru remembered were her exact words, "So nice that Mr. Monkey can hide." She hailed a cab as soon as she got out of the department store. "To the old amusement park," she said. Although 3 girls going to an abandoned amusement park in the middle of the daylight just screams trouble, they'd rather get there before the Ask faction figure it out first. That being said, they can't exactly be running around the city, so they had to hide by taking a cab. "Who's got money?" "Oh, shut up. Just give us the receipt later." When they arrived at the entrance, there was a large sign that said "Do not enter." This was nothing to a magical girl. As the taxi left them alone, they looked around to see if anyone could see them before jumping over the fence. It was completely broken down. The shop's logo was slanted and dirty. The athletics facility had a prohibited sign with some yellow tape attached to it. There was some garbage scattered in the parking lot, probably from the homeless people that traveled around the area. She's heard of this as a popular abandoned site location, so there might be people who were delving here for some hidden treasure or something. Uluru wondered what value this place had anyway, other than his memories of happier times. The 3 of them checked their current location on a map, then went straight to Monkey Mountain. A magical girl reaction. Only one, Pone. Fall voiced out, and Sarami shrugged her shoulders. "Guess you were right, huh, sis? Don't let your guard down. We don't know if it's Sachiko yet." Even though she said that, she really wanted to say that it was Sachiko. No one else would purposefully wait alone in an abandoned amusement park. That'd be really weird. Since there's plenty of broken stairs and ruined pathways, they'll have to rely on Fall's radar to pinpoint exactly where they're going. I can read her mind. She doesn't want to be found. What was originally 99% was now 100%. The only magical girl who hid and didn't want to be found in W City was Premium Sachiko. The back of Monkey Mountain was a door for staff only. Uluru braced herself and kicked the door open. "Sachiko, come here!" She heard a small yelp from the back of the room. After 10 seconds, no response. "Looks like she's not coming out." Uluru stomped her foot on the ground. Slam. The concrete cracked on her foot, the sound causing another yelp in reaction. "Sachiko, if you won't come to us, we'll come to you." "Wait a minute." Sarami stood next to Uluru. After a while, she stood in front of her. "Sachiko, why don't you come out? We already know you're here, right? I can't stop Uluru if she has to do her thing." Sarami's face was kind and moderating. Snow White retreated half a step back. Perhaps she knew not to interfere in family business. After all, Uluru was thinking about how worried she'd be if she let this embarrassing family scene be seen by her. Uluru especially didn't want Snow White to pity them. If Uluru and her sisters looked pathetic, then everyone would underestimate Puck Puck. But it was too late to hide the shame anyways, with Sachiko having run off. Uluru took a deep breath, and when she breathed out, she cleared her throat as well. "Don't think you can run away again. Hurry up and come out." Sachiko made a sound as she dropped to the floor. She was about to show up from under the table any minute now. Uluru could see her wavy golden hair. Just looking at it reminded her of Puck Puck. There was a time when Uluru was jealous of that hair. You won't get mad?" She didn't apologize. She didn't even acknowledge her actions. She was more worried that people would get mad at her for showing her crying face. Uluru, who was calm just before, now instantly boiled up. As she walked past Sarami grabbed hold of her. "See, I knew you'd get mad, Uluru." "Hey sis, mind not getting too angry. Now's not exactly the time." "You big idiot, Sachiko. You made everyone worried sick about you. Why are you worried if they'll get mad at you, too? You never learn, but you're gonna learn. 'Cause your face is getting beat up. One hit to that stupid face of yours and your head's gonna work properly again." A "Do Not Enter" sign fell down, causing a loud thump and dust to fly up. Cardboard boxes, garbage, the yellow tape, iron pipes piling up the place, all moved away as Uluru moved from one end of the room to the other, shouting at Sachiko as Sachiko cried. Okay, so now we see a illustration of Sachiko. Okay. Sarami's yelling continued. Uluru began kicking the air, and Sachiko wanted to run away. Then a high-pitched electronic voice broke the quarrel. "Magical girls detected. There's lots of them, Pone." Snow White left Uluru's side, moving swiftly in front of her in one swift motion. She used the handle of her naginata to grab onto Sachiko's breast pocket. With a yelp from Sachiko, Snow White deposited her in her bag. "We have to go. After saying that, Snow White ran outside, Hularu and Sarami following behind her. And we've now made it to page 9, and we have CQ Angel Hamuel. I'm going to grab some water really quick. Now I am worried. Now I am stressed. You learn from Jokers that whenever Shufflin show up, just to be worried. So we have Hamuel now. Hamuel wasn't the type of person who'd resort to violence, even if the majority had decided to do so. But a decision from above had to be fulfilled. That's what subordinates are for, after all. The center of the ritual was Puck-Puck's protege, Premium Sachiko. Without Sachiko, they wouldn't be able to do the ritual. Information on Sachiko's escape was given from a spy, and the Osk faction quickly reacted. If they were to get Sachiko from within the manor, then it would only mean war. If they were to persuade Sachiko as she escaped, then that was only a personal affair. Even if there were some violence involved, magical girls often fight each other. They can become friends through fighting. It's that saying, the ground becomes harder after it rains. They've already finished their tactical analysis. The magical girl hunter Snow White and 2 of Puck-Puck's subordinates. She knew that the magical girl hunter had the powerful ability to mind read, but she was also confident in her polearm combat skills. Another magical girl had been touching buildings along the way and reporting to the others. Perhaps she was using detecting magic. That's fine. Shufflin and Hamuel could still keep in control in that case. Snow White led the other 2 outside from the small shack. They headed toward the east side of the amusement park. Premium Sachiko wasn't with them. Hamuel saw them making a fuss before, so they must have made contact with Sachiko at the shack. They couldn't have left her back there. She zoomed in using the telescope that the diamond Shufflins made. Other than Snow White's costume, she was holding onto a naginata and a bag on her waist. That may be a magical item. She could have put Sachiko in the bag. Hamuel sent a message throughout her radio. B-Team, circle and follow C-Team on the west side. Concentrate fighting on the back exits. Look around your surroundings. B-Team, replace your taser guns with birdlime guns. Focus on ranged attacks. Avoid friendly fire. All clubs to stealth mode. The enemy has an advantage when locating us at medium range. Hamuel compensated for the Shufflin's inability to share their knowledge with her own magical skill. Her enemy this time couldn't attack from the air. So, if she scoured the battlefield from up high using her telescope and ordered commands from there, they wouldn't be able to stop her. Furthermore, the diamonds have made a variety of weapons and covered the Shufflin's costumes with inner plates. Using the diamond's intelligence, they could create armor that can endure conventional magical girl weapons. Despite being non-combat, if you give diamonds a weapon, they can greatly increase its overall strength. And see, I like this, whereas in Jokers, the way that Joker used the Shufflin was just to overwhelm them with numbers with the clubs, and then to send in the strong spades to get the kills, like while they were overwhelming them with numbers with the clubs. Where this is a lot more strategic, she's using the intelligence of the diamonds to sort of bolster the others. Okay, C-Team, converge with the ace. The only one that could take on the magical girl hunter is the ace of spades. The rest of you cooperate to take down the other magical girls. B-Team, stand by on the rooftops. They have a clear shot below. Have your guns ready. Use your sticky guns. Shoot them to slow the enemy down. The enemy and Hamuel's allies made contact. The battle's begun. The only one that had the ability to see the entire battlefield without being a soldier was her side. That advantage could never be overcome by personal strength. The enemy retreated from the east side when they were shot with the sticky guns, and when they went to the west side, they were held down by the clubs. If they headed north, they'd be fired upon by more sticky guns from the athletic building roof. If they headed south, then they'd come face to face with the ace of spades. Snow White continued to retreat, jumping across the yellowish sticky mass on the ground. They shot 3 rounds to the side to block off the pathway, then shot another 3 shots. Snow White dodged them all, flipping and fluttering through the air. No matter how much she avoided it, it won't be a problem, thanks to the magical enhancements to the gun. The sticky bullets will remain on the ground even if it missed, and will remain sticky, becoming a fixed trap. Even if even if a magical girl stepped on it, they'd be trapped, inhibiting their movements. No matter how many times Snow White read her attacker's mind, if she runs out of dodging space, she'll get hit. The magical girl wielding a rifle was shouting something, but it was pointless. The Shufflins all had earplugs. Hamuel's orders echoed in their heads, so they didn't need to listen to anything outside. Close quarters team, you may retreat. I repeat, you may retreat. Making sure you aren't killed is top priority. Stick to the walls. There's no need to take them down. For now, just immobilize them. Snow White swung and thrusted her naginata, blowing the Shufflins away. However, because of their plates, none of the blows managed to pierce them. Other Shufflins will just fill in the holes left behind by the originals. The enemy's range of movements lessened. Afterward, they could just stick them, catch them, or incapacitate them. Hamuel can negotiate for their surrender. The countdown to the end of the battle is set, but as soon as she thought that, she heard the wind whistle. Hamuel twisted her body, but she couldn't completely dodge whatever was thrown as her arm was scraped, dripping blood. An ambush. Creepy-looking black figures were surrounding Hamuel. Man, this is getting crazy. We're gonna have a three-way fight between the Shufflin army, Snow White's group, and now Deluge's group. Creepy-looking black creatures were surrounding Hamuel. Homunculi, aka demons, magical life forms. There were a total of 6 of them. Looking down at the battlefield, they were also engaging the Shufflins. The diamonds that had no combat abilities were beaten down, and they were focusing their attacks on the spades that were taking cover. Okay. It wasn't just homunculi. A trident-wielding magical girl was also attacking the Shufflin, almost as aggressive as the demons themselves. The speed at which she swung her trident was comparable to a high-numbered spade. Even though she seemed to be frenzied, her movements were like that of a trained soldier, cold and reasonable. The way she handled her body was also stunning. The non-combat Shufflin were like sacrificial lambs to her, and adding her unique magical skill, then the combat Shufflin would also need numbers to take her. However, the black shadowy demons were preventing reinforcements. At this rate, the Shufflins will be destroyed. Hamuel clicked her tongue, her painful feelings coming out from the back of her throat. Enemy reinforcements, or perhaps Snow White's group was a decoy. Without information, there was a possibility that Sachiko escaping with Snow White was also faked. The situation is approaching the worst-case scenario. If she wanted to salvage it, she'd have to reduce losses. She could still recover as long as she didn't lose any more Shufflins. Abort mission, your top priority now is to withdraw. She gave the order over her radio, then breathed in deeply, letting air fill her chest. An arrow-like demon attempted to strike at Hamuel, but just at the last second, Hamuel blew out all the air she had toward her microphone. She wasn't broadcasting to the Shufflin, but to the demon attacking her like an arrow. Suddenly the black shadow curled up as a loud voice echoed in its head. Hamuel took advantage of the opening and dodged, flying away from the amusement park. She refused to resort to fighting, not to mention she had confidence in her speed to escape. Alright, now we're getting to Sarami Nakano and what might be the last scene of this week's read-through. Let's see how far we are. We're 23 minutes. Actually, not that bad for the amount that we've read. But either way, we have Sarami here. Things are getting exciting. Still very nervous, though. Everyone was confused. Sarami was confused. The card soldiers attacked them, shooting sticky bullets toward them. They ran, they dodged. Little by little, they were cornered. And when they ran the other way, they were ambushed. When Uluru shouted that you'll die if you don't close your eyes and lie down, they were still moving. Just when she thought all hope was lost, help arrived. The 4-winged black demons attacked the card soldiers, and now they were the ones running away. The group took advantage of this and headed out to the back entrance. Snow White, are these your friends? We don't know them, Pone. So Lady Puck sent reinforcements? I don't know any of that either. This was completely different from when they fought the card soldiers before. She couldn't afford to be tense and nervous. If she stopped, she'd die. She had to run. She made the walls her blind sides, using the athletics building as a shield, and hiding behind Snow White. She just had to run, dash, jump, and escape. She was awful in trainings. She thought it was boring. She wondered why she had to do it. If she was absent, Uluru would get mad at her. This is the first time when she understood why she did all those marathons and sprints. They were trained hard so that when they actually had to do it in a life-or-death situation, they wouldn't flinch. They understood why the demons were here. It wasn't just the card soldiers, they were also attacking them. Uluru attacked with a gunshot. Sarami tried to kick them away, and Snow White sliced them in half with a single stroke. They're targeting Sachiko too, aren't they? God damn it, Sachiko. Even though they were fine, Sarami was lightly crying. She was wondering why it had turned out like this. She wanted to scream and cry, but she couldn't stop running. There were two sides fighting it out amongst each other. So, was there someone other than the Ask faction that's making a bid to stop the ritual? Or was someone in the Ask faction misinformed? Sarami didn't know what the enemy was thinking. The only thing she could do now was escape in the chaos. As the card soldiers were dealing with the demons, they were all concentrated together and tried to escape. The demons were also concentrating their attacks on them. Following Fall's radar and Snow White's instructions, they moved with the walls behind their backs to areas where there were no magical girls, sometimes jumping off from the walls with such power that it would crack afterward. 2 magical girls detected, coming from the east, Pone. Enemies coming into sight, Pone. Hey, Pone guy, which way is east? Who are you calling Pone? East is in the right, Pone. It's the Lost and Found shop, Pone. Just then, they noticed 2 magical girls breaking down the walls of the Lost and Found Center with a kick. They weren't card soldiers, they weren't demons. One was wearing a scholar's uniform and graduation cap in all white. The other was covered in all black. Sarami felt like she'd seen the black one somewhere before. The black magical girl's right hand contorted into complex shapes, twisted, and as if there were no joints, transformed. Her right hand blocked the sunlight, and the large dog shadow formed by it began to attack Uluru. So yeah, like I said before, her power has to be shadow control, since it was what they had to do before to create the wings. It wasn't a three-dimensional object. Its appearance was a shadow projected onto a plane. However, it was still able to attack somehow. That's just how a magical girl's power worked. Uluru jumped back to dodge. The shadow fang bit the concrete. If she hadn't jumped back, it would have bitten off Uluru's leg. Even Sarami was trembling. Snow White swung her naginata at the black magical girl. The black magical girl lowered her posture and made a shadow with her left hand, just like her right hand. She made another animal. The left hand's animal aimed for Snow White. Snow White lightly hopped, avoiding its bites. The animal beast stuck only to floors and walls, not coming outside of a 2D plane. If you jumped, you could temporarily dodge them. However, their movements were fast, and they couldn't jump forever. They'll continue to attack the feet. It'd be difficult to fight back. Even Snow White and Uluru were getting hard-pressed. So it's cool. It's like she just makes like shadow puppet animals, pretty much. The black magical girl never let her eyes off Snow White, instructing the white magical girl, "Misan, you deal with her. Roger that." Unlike Snow White and Uluru, Sarami had no weapons. She made a posture by opening both her palms. For now, she had to avoid what was going to come. Even though she tried to relax, she couldn't breathe calmly. The scholar magical girl had a rolled-up newspaper in her right hand. Those were the morning news, right? It was old. She must have gotten that from the Lost and Found Center. There were cardboard boxes in there packed up, probably something they were using. The magical girl held the newspaper and swung it at Sarami. Trades to blades. In an instant, Sarami's hair was cut. The rubber band tying up her hair was also cut. Sarami's long hair began to unwind. No blood was shed. She wasn't hurt. It's because she dodged at the last second, or she should have. It's because of her training. She moved just like her training. This is why she was trained. However, she still wasn't breathing calmly. When did the magical girl get a sword? It was a single-edged sword, and it wasn't a prop. It wasn't a newspaper anymore. Somehow she turned a newspaper into a sword in that one instant she spoke. Again, her power is really, really cool. So I like this. I really like Hamuel and the way she uses the shuffling. It's interesting that Deluge is probably like, shuffling, and starts just fighting all of them. I'm excited to see if we get to see from her point of view. I think that'll probably be pretty funny. In fact, we're seeing from her point of view next whenever I start off the next video. So my throat really hurts. My voice is dead right now. But I love this. I really, really love this arc. It's been so good so far. I love Snow White's group. I'm interested to see how they're going to end up reacting or like interacting with Deluge's group, because Snow White and Deluge know each other. So I'm interested to see what happens when they finally see each other. And yeah, like I said, Hamuel being more strategic in her use of shuffling is really, really cool. The only disadvantage is that now as the demons and Deluge take down shuffling, she can't restock them like Joker could, where Joker was just like letting shuffling die off. She was using the numbers game, like I said, just sending waves of numbers at them and then restocking the deck. So yeah, either way, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it too. So, like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my first thoughts and reaction of it so far. Like I said, we got 2 more parts left. Comment, subscribe, follow on, subscribe for more Magical Girl Racing Project, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel or talk to you there. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord, then just ask and I can give you a link. And if you want to help support the channel on Patreon, then that'd be really helpful. Link will be in the description. And patrons every 3 months get to give suggestions and vote on a new series for the channel. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you all next time.